I'm here with Miroslav Begovic from Georgia Tech University in the United States, professor in the Electricity and Energy Department over there. Miroslav, you are considered in New Zealand a bit of an expert in the solar space. I wonder if you can just tell us some of the key advances in the technology in solar that you're seeing at the moment.
Well, solar has experienced tremendous increase in production in the last few years, primarily driven by reduction in cost and evolutionary improvements in production process that has increased efficiency of the cells. So we're approaching the moment when the cells are getting close to 20% efficient and sales are below $1.50 a watt, which is a magical formula that brings us a little closer to grid parity when solar over the lifetime of its exploitation comes close to the cost of commercial electricity obtained from other resources.
Right, and in terms of the manufacturing process, who's leading the way there?
A large chunk of manufacturing is happening in China. There are a number of US manufacturers working on developing new processes. Some of the production goes on in Europe, but the bulk of it, I would say, is happening in China and United States.
But I understand there are a few changes happening in the manufacturing market in the United States. Could you explain what's happening there?
Well, the United States has not enjoyed the very good environment in getting support for feed-in tariffs like European market has. So in that respect, I think the development has largely been towards improving the efficiency of the process and reducing the cost of its own. That's what I would say about the main changes that are happening right now. The improvements in the process are for the first time bringing the cost to the point when it can actually compete on its own without relying too much on the feed-in tariffs.
And so I imagine a few people going out of business basically in the space.
Well, that is the result largely of the economic problems that we have seen and experienced in the last few years. The exuberant optimism about PV that has happened in the beginning of 2000s have been pretty much stopped short with the advent of 2008 economic crisis. Sure. And overproduction, overcapacity of the manufacturing production that is the result of that has largely been the reason for manufacturers going bankrupt.
You mentioned the feed-in tariffs in Europe. Are they still in vogue over there, or are they being cut back at the moment?
European tariffs are being cut back, but still remain in Germany at the level of 12 to 25 cents per kilowatt hour, in Italy of 10 to 20 cents per kilowatt hour. In US, for example, California is having some feed-in tariffs, and for the equipment actually manufactured in California, it could be up to 50 cents per kilowatt hour, which is great. And a new market that is coming up and with a great new potential is a $9.6 billion market in Japan, which, as you probably know, has been hit hard with Fukushima incidents. Nearly all of the nuclear reactors have been shut down. So they are trying to increase the size of their photovoltaic market from current 5 gigawatt. Last year added 1.3 gigawatt and planning to triple that addition with new feed-in tariffs of the order of 52 cents per kilowatt hour.
And can you tell me a bit more about Japan? Is it Japanese companies that are investing, or is it the state-owned utilities, or what's happening there?
It's the government. Tokyo Electric Power has been hit so hard with Fukushima incident that it, for all practical purposes, has been nationalized. I spoke with colleagues there, and after shutting down of the nuclear reactors, they have been forced to purchase natural gas, and ship it from Indonesia and other countries in Southeast Asia. So that's an tremendously costly way of generating electricity. And in such an environment, going to solar, even with very generous feed-in tariffs, makes a lot of business sense, not just technological sense, but business sense as well.
And so this effective creation of the Japanese market, what does it mean for everyone else?
Well, that means that there will be more customers for the world production of PV, so hopefully the prices will stabilize at a point that will keep the manufacturers in business and allow them to settle the prices at the point where they can generate profit and make further advances to sustainably start producing PV on a larger scale.
Sure. And what about China? What are you seeing in that market?
Chinese market has also shown signs of weakness, not only for PV but the whole economy. There have been rumors that some of the largest manufacturers in China are experiencing financial problems. The largest manufacturer has been burdened with about $6 billion of debt. But Chinese government has been very generous in supporting their manufacturers across the board. The sum that I have encountered in the literature is about $40 billion of government support in order to keep the industry afloat and competitive on the world market.
For New Zealand, you know, we're a wee way away from other markets geographically. We don't have the greatest solar resource to the scale that they do in Australia. How long do you think before a solar PV installation is economic for a utility in New Zealand?
Well, as far as New Zealand goes, having already more than 3/4 of the generation facilities in renewables and in the best and cheapest renewable hydro is a great accomplishment and a blessing of the mother nature in this country. So I would say that New Zealand is enjoying now a great opportunity to purchase PV at probably below actual cost because of the world situation. But if there are no pressing needs to pursue large-scale expansion in that arena, I'm sure that PV will be an attractive and at grid parity resource that could be approached in a couple of years. So I think New Zealand's in great situation that it can pick and choose the moment at which it will enter the solar market.
Professor Begovic, thanks very much for your time.
You're very welcome.